If the negotiations don't work, when will Russia say we have reached our goals and end the war?
Look, the goals have never changed. I gave you some examples. When they started strategic defeat to Russia, no negotiations, and now they are pleading and threatening. Ceasefire immediately without any preconditions because Ukraine is running out of weapons and we need to replenish the weapons for Ukraine. Or there must be sustainable long-term peace, as President Trump said after Alaska. Now the Europeans are trying to dominate the agenda with the rhetoric about ceasefire. They zigzagging, depending on what is going on the front line. We are convinced that to save the people from the Nazist regime, the people who have always been part of the Russian culture, they spoke Russian language, they were teaching their children in Russian, they watched Russian movies, they got news from the Russian media outlets, culture, theaters, what have you. And when all this have been prohibited by legislation, the Constitution of Ukraine still states that the state of Ukraine guarantees the rights of national minorities. Russian minority is highlighted separately, Russian and other national minorities as regards education, what have you. And when all this was cancelled by law, and they started this cancelling in 2017, long before the special operation started, and since then, and this was another root cause, the root cause number one, NATO, because it was intended to pull Ukraine into NATO and to build military bases in Crimea, on the Sea of Azov, just on our doorsteps. And I quoted President Trump, who bluntly explained why it's absolutely unacceptable to Russia, and everybody must understand this. But another root cause is extermination of everything Russian, history, language, media, culture, education, toppling and destroying the monuments to the Russian representatives who founded Ukraine in the eastern and southern part, toppling the monuments to those who saved Ukraine and Europe from Hitler and his Nazist troops. And we ask from time to time, publicly and individually, we ask our colleagues who show any interest in, helping to settle this conflict. We ask, why are you, okay, NATO, it is something which not too many people would like to get into publicly, but human rights, it's in the United Nations Charter. It says everybody must ensure human rights irrespective of race, gender, language, or religion. Language, as I said, totally banned by law. In practice, people still use Russian language because it is their native language. Ukrainian Canonical Orthodox Church had also been banned by law, and but people only ask, when are you going to end the war? When are you going to have a ceasefire? It's not honest, if you wish. An honest discussion would be to tell Ukrainians, before anything else, restore the language rights for restore all national minority rights, because your constitution says so, and in violation of the constitution you pass so many pieces of legislation. including, by the way, the legislation which discriminates Hungarian national minority in the western Ukraine, though Ukrainians try to be very specific in discriminating Russian language and trying to make some concessions for the language of the European Union. There is no single international convention which says that there are some languages which are more important than others. It's like Orwell, you know, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. I repeatedly discussed this with Peter Sijarto, and he assured me that when Hungary fights politically, diplomatically for the right of national minorities, Hungary means all national minorities as international conventions, as the United Nations Charter require. And we appreciated the role Hungary played when this framework for negotiations with Ukraine on accession to the European Union was discussed. And Hungary, I think, single-handedly insisted that these chapters on negotiating accession included quite considerable language on national minorities, on their rights, and it is formulated not just about European Union languages. It's about all languages and all national minorities, and we appreciate that Hungary happened to be basically the country which single-handedly achieved this. It's another matter that nobody in Brussels wants to remember about this deal, this consensus. And when various representatives, including the Commission on Expansion, Mrs. Kos, as far as I understand, is saying, no, Ukraine is fully ready to begin accession negotiations. For Ukraine to be ready, they first have to undo what they have done in violation of their constitution and many conventions. So it's not, I think, appropriate when people say, when are you going to end the war? Where are you going to stop? Zaporozhye, are you going to give it back? Actually, we now have taken some other territories which are not, which do not belong to the regions reflected now in our constitution. The reason is very simple. We need a buffer zone because Ukrainians continue shelling, bombing, droning Russian territory, including the territories which never were challenged by anybody. I mean Bryansk, Belgorod, Kursk, and so root causes. That's what must be key to understanding how to help end this situation efficiently, and thinking not about grabbing back territories, not about saving political losers who are ruling in Kiev, but thinking about the people who, you know, should be the utmost concern of those who say that they're champions of democracy. And when we are accused that we violate so many things, we, you know, invaded independent state in violation of one thing, like in violation of its independence, then in violation of the Budapest Memorandum of 1994. First, we recognized Ukraine on the basis of its own declaration of independence, and its constitution. In 1990, Declaration on Independence was adopted, which says non-nuclear, neutral, non-bloc country with the rights of all national minorities and so on and so forth. And this was then endorsed by the constitution. So we recognize the Ukraine, which is very different from the country run by the openly Nazist regime. And when people pull it into NATO and say it has the right to choose alliances, it is not our reading of the situation. When we recognize somebody, it is on the basis of what this country is according to its own proclamation.